Life will always challenge us. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are from, or how experienced you are, challenges will arise at times when we least anticipate them. And yet, it's exactly in those times that leaders are determined. A leader isn't one who stands by waiting for the road to be smooth and the sky to be blue. A leader is one who stands tall when the storm rages on and says, "I will find a way." Inviting challenges in courage is the first step in fixing any issue, because courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act in spite of fear. When we face obstacles, our initial reaction is to turn away, to wish they will resolve themselves. But leaders know that avoidance is the opposite of advancement. They know that every obstacle is a challenge, an opportunity to try our mettle, our endurance, and our ingenuity. Consider it each time you have encountered something tough in your life, perhaps a failure, a loss, or a challenge that seemed insurmountable. You have learned and grown from it. You didn't necessarily know it at the time, but those experiences were quietly molding you, getting you ready to deal with greater challenges ahead. Courage helps us frame those moments differently, not as failures, but as lessons and stepping stones. Facing challenges doesn't involve doing something stupid. It involves going into it with a clear head and an open heart. It involves recognizing the fear or uneasiness, but not letting it take over your actions. It involves knowing that problems are fleeting, but the strength and wisdom you accumulate by going through them will last you a lifetime. Muniba Mazari often speaks about how life's unexpected difficulties can either break us or make us stronger. The difference lies in our response. Courage transforms fear into action and doubt into determination. A leader also inspires courage in others by example. When people see someone confronting challenges boldly, it motivates them to confront their own difficulties. It creates a ripple effect, turning fear into collective strength. Courage is contagious. It spreads when it is embodied genuinely. Picture a team with a tough challenge. The person who steps up first, who faces the problem directly, too often ends up becoming the anchor for all the others. This is why embracing challenges isn't simply an individual decision. It's a leadership decision. Besides, taking on challenges enables leaders to innovate. When we do not shy away from challenging circumstances, we are open to innovative solutions we would never think of had we remained within our comfort zone. Leadership is all about turning problems into opportunities. Courage is the power that enables this turnaround. Without courage, challenges are problems. With courage, challenges are doors to growth and success. In each challenge, there lies a lesson to be learned. A leader identifies that lesson, learns it, and proceeds with more confidence. That is why courage is not merely a response. It's a habit, an attitude, a lifestyle. It is the bedrock upon which all problem-solving rests. The more we confront our fears and accept challenges, the more robust, the wiser, and the more able we become. So, when life hands you challenges, big or small, don't step back. Step forward, stand tall. Meet the challenge straight on and say, "I am ready." Because courage is not only about getting through difficulties. It's about growing from them, inspiring others, and fixing problems like a real leader. And don't forget, each challenge you face with determination is one more brick in the building of your leadership. When a challenge appears, our feelings tend to override. We feel anger, frustration, anxiety, or panic. These feelings are normal. They are part of the human condition. But if we let them rule, we risk acting impulsively instead of addressing the problem successfully. Thinking strategically, not emotionally, is what distinguishes an effective problem solver from an authentic leader. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about opting to act with purpose, clarity, and vision, even when the atmosphere is charged or overwhelming. Leadership involves viewpoint. A leader understands that acting on impulse in the moment never creates long-term solutions. Rather, they step back, look at the situation, and dissect it from multiple perspectives. They ask themselves, what is the fundamental cause of this issue? What tools do I have? What possible outcomes could come from each available action? Through thinking this methodically, leaders convert chaos into clarity. Strategic thinking enables us to look past immediate frustration or stress and find solutions that are sustainable, effective, and reflective. Feelings can obscure judgment, but they can also be a source of important information if we work with them skillfully. For instance, anger could be an indication that something is seriously wrong or unfair, and fear could be a threat we cannot ignore. A strategic thinker recognizes these feelings, but does not allow them to drive decision-making. They employ emotions as cues, not commands. This is what Muniba Mazari keeps reiterating: knowing your feelings, but not letting them control you, enables you to decide on things that are reality, based and meaningful. Another essential aspect of strategic thinking is anticipating challenges before they emerge. Leaders don't react to problems after they've become big issues. They anticipate possible problems and come up with solutions early. It takes patience, observation, and planning. It involves seeing the larger perspective, balancing risks and gains, and deciding on long-term objectives over short-term responses. Emotional reactions are centered on present discomfort, while strategic thinking centers on long-term development and influence. A leader also appreciates data input and multiple perspectives in resolving issues. Strategic thinking is not isolating oneself. It is getting information, taking advice, and engaging alternative perspectives. This avoids tunnel vision and makes decisions well supported. It is all too easy to act on impulse or assume when tensions are running high. Strategic thinking reverses this by creating a level-headed, analytic, and inclusive stance. Most importantly, strategic thinking develops resilience and confidence. Once we realize we have carefully examined the situation, weighed options, and made a conscious decision, we are able to act with certainty. This ability to act confidently generates trust among other people, because individuals know that the leader is not acting impulsively, but leading with prudence and insight. Strategic thinkers create opportunity out of uncertainty because they realize that careful planning is the nexus between problem and solution. In the end, the capacity to think strategically over emotionally gives leaders the power to fix problems efficiently, engender confidence, and ride out challenges with poise. It enables us to act in purpose, to decide on matters that are in line with our vision, and lead people through adversity without chaos and indecision. Emotional intelligence and strategic thinking complement each other. Emotions guide, strategy determines, and leadership is born. So the next time you are stumped by a challenge, stop, catch your breath, look beyond the present discomfort and ask yourself, what is the smartest course of action? How can I do this with clarity, focus, and foresight? Strategy thinking is not merely a skill. It is a mindset, a discipline, and a characteristic of a problem-solving leader who makes wise choices with courage and purpose. Mistakes are something that everyone has to go through. No one, not even the most powerful leaders, lives through life without stumbling, erring, or failing to meet expectations. But this is the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a crucial part of it. Leaders know this. They realize that each failure holds within it a lesson, an underlying opportunity, and a way to become stronger. Learning from failure is what turns good people into great leaders, because it is not about not making mistakes. It is about how you recover from them. When we fail, it is simple to get discouraged. We might doubt ourselves, blame situations, or even allow fear to prevent us from attempting again. But leaders don't do that. They take time, think about things, and ask the tough questions. What failed? What would I have done differently? What have I learned that will stop me from repeating the same mistake? This reflection is important because it enables us to make every setback a stepping stone. Every failure becomes a lesson that makes us more resilient, helps us improve our judgment, and tunes our strategy to approaching challenges in the future. Muniba Mazari regularly talks about how life is going to challenge us in ways we do not anticipate. But those trials are where the greatest growth happens. The second that we do not fear failure anymore and begin to study it, we start to realize our full potential. Leaders do not fear falling down, they fear staying put. Every failure is a reflection of how we can improve. It is a time to realign, to learn, and to ready oneself for the next hurdle with wiser insight. Humility is another essential part of learning from failure. Failure makes us acknowledge we are human, we are always learning, and perfection is not the destination, progress is. Leaders love humility because it enables them to accept criticism, hear others out, and change. When we see failures as lessons, not personal failures, we allow ourselves to grow. We become open to trying things out, to inventing, and to calculated risk-taking. Knowing that even if we fail, there is always something to learn from the failure. Failures also serve to teach us patience and persistence. Success is rarely linear, and the journey to valuable achievements is often fraught with challenges and setbacks. Leaders realize that setbacks are not what frame their path, perseverance does. Every setback is an endurance test, an opportunity to show ourselves that we can bounce back and be wiser and stronger as a result. And by learning from these experiences, we develop resilience, a trait that enables us to walk through even the toughest challenges without losing hope or direction. As it happens, sharing failures can also encourage others. When a leader admits publicly that they make mistakes and shares lessons learned, it emboldens those around them to own their own struggles without fear. It instills a culture of valuing growth over perfection and courage over comfort. Learning from failure is not just an individual process. It is a leading by example practice, demonstrating to others that failure is only temporary, but the knowledge derived from them is enduring. So, when life hands you failure, don't view it as the end of the line. View it as a teacher. View it as a pointer that says, "Hey, you can do better, and this is how." Look back, learn, and get back up. Because each failure you encounter, examine, and learn from is one step closer to being a problem-solver leader who is confident, intelligent, and resilient. Leaders are not people who never fail, only those who never give up learning from it. Leadership isn't merely fixing your own problems. It's about raising others up while you develop. Great leaders realize that no one becomes great alone. Empowering yourself and others is one of the strongest weapons a leader can use, because problems aren't typically fixed in a vacuum. If you give yourself knowledge, confidence, and courage, you can meet challenges head-on. But when you also move others to inspiration, direction, and participation, you gain by magnitudes. Empowerment is the link between individual strength and collective achievement. Self-awareness is where empowering yourself begins. A leader is aware of his own strengths and weaknesses, knows where he needs to grow, and accepts responsibility for developing himself. This isn't arrogance, it's honesty. By understanding yourself, you get clear on how to handle difficulties. You learn to listen to your inner voice as well as know when you need assistance. When you empower yourself, you no longer wait for permission, validation, or approval from others. You find that the ability to act, to innovate, and to problem solve is inside you, and you start to claim responsibility for your actions and decisions. Empowerment, though, does not stop at personal development. It radiates outward. Leaders know that the combined force of a team is much stronger than individual effort. Empowering others helps you build a culture where everyone is valued, enabled, and encouraged to contribute. This can involve the sharing of information, guidance, fostering creativity, or merely expressing faith in a person's capabilities. As individuals feel empowered, they cease to view themselves as powerless observers and begin to view themselves as contributing problem solvers. Such a perception of agency turns a body of individuals into a cohesive, strong team that can solve even the most intricate problems. Muniba Mazari generally reiterates that leadership is not so much about control as it is cooperation. Empowering is the secret to cooperation because it takes the focus away from power and puts it on impact. An empowering leader doesn't keep solutions to themselves. They share them with others. They make room for others to shine, to step up, and develop confidence in their own capacity. This way, not only does it get the problems fixed, but it grows a culture of trust and respect for one another, where everyone is invested in the result. Empowerment also encourages innovation. When individuals are allowed to think independently, take risks, and give their input, solutions that an individual leader could never possibly come up with on his own are born. Empowering leaders know that numerous points of view make decisions better and problems more creatively solvable. By granting individuals room to speak, you release potential that could have gone unrecognized, and you convert obstacles into opportunities for shared growth. In addition, empowerment enhances resilience. If people feel able and encouraged, they are apt to withstand failures instead of abandoning efforts. An empowering leader creates a pool of resilience that can endure hardships, undergo change, and keep going regardless of how challenging the circumstances. Thus, empowerment is a circle. Empowering yourself and others builds strength, confidence, and courage in everyone you surround yourself with, which, in turn, encourages your own development as a leader. Therefore, when you are challenged, keep in mind that fixing the problems is not merely about your own capability. It is about empowering yourself to take action with decisiveness and empowering others to act with self-assurance and creativity. Leadership is never a one-person ride. It's a collaborative ride of learning, growth, and solving. When you bring people along as you ascend, you build a force that's impenetrable, unbreakable, and can conquer any barrier. Empowerment is not a thing that one does. It is a state of mind, a leadership style, and a legacy that endures long after one difficulty or triumph is over. Life is uncertain, and difficulties seldom come in tidy bundles. Sometimes challenges strike simultaneously, leaving us shaken to our foundations and challenging our patience, our strength, and our hope. It is at such times that resilience and optimism become not only handy, but necessary. Leaders know that how we react to adversity determines the result much more than does the adversity itself. It takes resilience to refuse to quit when encountering obstacles, and taking positivity is an act of choosing to look for possibilities and optimism in even desperate situations. Both make up the foundation of problem solving like a true leader. We are not born with resilience, we develop it. It is constructed by experience, contemplation, and the deliberate act of continuing on even in the face of failure or adversity. When adversity comes our way, we have two options: allow it to shatter us or allow it to mold us. Leaders opt for the latter. They perceive adversity as temporary, not eternal, and realize that all problems, however daunting they might appear, have a solution to be found. Every time we get up after falling, our strength increases, our confidence becomes stronger, and we become capable of overcoming next challenges. Positivity goes hand in hand with resilience. It is not about denying reality or pretending there are no problems. On the contrary, it is about opting for a mindset that emphasizes possibilities rather than constraints. A positive leader seeks to learn from failure, good from adversity, and opportunities for personal growth in every fall. Such an approach turns detours into navigable byways and fright into zeal. Positivity enables us to remain composed under pressure, make decisions more clearly, and instill confidence in others. Human beings are naturally drawn to the leaders who stay positive and calm, as they provide stability and hope even during trying times. Muniba Mazari frequently points out that the toughest challenges in life can either destroy us or make us greater, depending on our reaction. Positivity and resilience are the tools that make us greater. They enable us to maneuver circumstances without losing direction or purpose. When we hold these traits, we are more likely to examine problems fairly, make decisions promptly, and encourage others to do the same. Leadership isn't a matter of shying from challenges. It's a matter of standing up to them with courage, determination, and a positive mindset. Resilience and positivity also require the ability to be adaptable. Life almost never happens as we expect. A resilient leader accepts change, learns to navigate new situations, and maintains flexibility in their strategy. Positivity helps us recognize that change, no matter how uncomfortable, can lead to unforeseen opportunity. Combined, they help leaders shift when they need to, think outside the box to solve problems, and continue moving forward without being stranded in frustration or hopelessness. Positivity and resilience are also infectious. When a leader stays calm and positive, it encourages others to follow suit. Teams excel with the guidance of someone who focuses on solutions instead of problem dwelling. By leading by example as resilient, leaders establish a culture in which individuals are empowered to confront challenges with confidence and courage. This collective resilience forms a force that can overcome even the most formidable challenges. Therefore, when issues come up, and they will, keep in mind that how you react is more important than the issue itself. Be resolute. Keep your heart strong, and do not let disappointments define you. Hold on to positivism, thinking about opportunities, solutions, and expansion. By doing so, you not only fix problems well, but you also motivate others, build momentum, and set the stage for success. Resilience and optimism are not qualities. They are a leader's greatest assets. Inform every choice, action, and step with the solution of issues of wisdom, braveness, and unrelenting hope.